Good morning. I'm Officer Socker with the Kettering Police Department. I work in the Community Relations section of our department, and I'm also the School Resource Officer here at Fairmont High School. Today I'm going to talk to you about internet safety and social media safety. Because teens today live in a society in which social media is the way we communicate, I want you to be able to stay safe and avoid some of the dangers that have popped up because of the use of social media in our lives. Social Kettering is what I'm entitling this, and soon you will hear from some of your own students about social media and safety throughout your school. So today, what I'd like to talk to you about is 3 different ways that you can stay safe, and this is what are the most common risks in social media for teenagers. Your safety depends on the user and the use of the privacy settings. The most common risk young people face online is cyberbullying or peer harassment or aggression. In other words, hurtful, harassing, or defamatory behavior. The second most common risk is posting information that could be used to embarrass or manipulate them, or could cause psychological harm, or could be used by criminals to steal their identity or property. The third risk is the potential for inappropriate contact with an adult or stranger. So we're going to look at the first risk, cyberbullying, which I deal with quite a bit on a regular basis. Cyberbullying has many definitions, but can be summed up as an inappropriate use of technology that is intended to harass, humiliate, stalk, threaten, terrorize, or slander others. Typically, this is used in the age group of 8 to 15 years of age, but can be an older person. Cyberbullying is done oftentimes, people say, because they think it's funny. They don't think it's a big deal. They are encouraged by friends to do it, peer pressure. They think they won't get caught, or they think everybody does it, so it's okay to do. But what we need to realize is the ramifications of this. This is a video which I'm going to show you an example of how it can come back and hurt your own family and your own loved ones.
I heard about a lot of things my friends were doing online that were really mean or just plain crazy. I never thought I would do anything like that. One day my friend Pat showed me a website he made. He posted a list of girls in our school and had guys we know go on and rate them. Sort of a hot or not kind of website. I thought it was pretty funny, so I rated them too. We had a good laugh and I thought that was the end of it. The next day everyone at school was talking about it. He had sent it out to the whole school to see. I could tell a couple of girls had been crying, and I knew it was because of what the guys had said about them and how they looked. I felt bad, but I didn't really get it until I went home that night. Turns out, the guys had put my little sister on the site too, but hid it from me because they knew I would get upset. She was crying when I got home, and she wouldn't even look at me. I would never have said those things to someone's face. I didn't even mean them. I thought it was just a joke between friends. Now Pat's suspended from school, and they might kick me out too. Once you put something online, you lose control of it. You can never get it back, and people can use it in ways you never even meant. I learned that the hard way. I wish I never saw that stupid site.
So other ways that can lead to problems for teenagers when it regards cyberbullying is the fact that sometimes it can lead to situations where kids will not attend school, or it has led to school violence events, or on top of that, it has led to people committing suicide. So 1 out of every 10 students who drops out of school does so because of repeated bullying. And those who are bullied are 5 times more likely to be depressed and far more likely to be suicidal. And harassment has led to 75% of the active shooter or school shooting incidents. These are actual cases that have occurred in the state of Ohio. Jesse Logan is a really important case because it began the law change for people to have bullying policies in schools. It's called the Jesse Logan Act. Just want to talk about her briefly. She was a junior at Sycamore High School near Cincinnati, Ohio. She was in a one-year relationship with her boyfriend, and she sent a semi-nude or nude photo during the relationship to her boyfriend. Well, the relationship ended, and the boyfriend disseminated the photo to everyone at her school and the entire school district and the city. Obviously, Jessie was very embarrassed and almost failed out of school. She did manage to graduate from high school the following year. She attended, though, a friend's funeral during that time frame, about the same age, and when she returned home, she committed suicide just prior to attending her first year in college. Her mother went around and promoted the awareness so that the Jessie Logan Act is possible, and if you want and have an interest, there's a good video about Jessie on the internet that you could watch about her story. The second person is Ryan Patrick Halligan. This boy was bullied by kids all the way from his 5th grade year. Ryan was a special needs student and he physically was challenged. He remained silent about any of this. He didn't tell his parents or family or anyone. Somebody in the 7th grade decided to pretend to like Ryan only to make fun of him behind his back. When Ryan found out about the deception, he was devastated and Ryan committed suicide. His father found him in his room, and Ryan's father found a lot of information on social media and what his son had to endure. So Ryan's father's message, now that he travels the world and goes around and talks to middle school students, is basically, you should not be a bystander. If you would step in and do something, perhaps something is better than nothing, and less people will choose the alternative of suicide. Megan Meyer was a fellow teenager as well, and her mother, or actually a friend of hers, mother, pretended to be a male juvenile on a MySpace account. This was a way for this mother to spy on what Megan might be saying about her daughter. Later, the mother posed as the male, using the information they had gained in their friendship on MySpace, and put out some very damaging and hateful, slanderous things about Megan. Megan committed suicide in her home. So the importance is that we need to make focus on what bullying really can lead to, and what the possibilities are, and what we're putting out there in social media. Well, how do we stop this? How do we be positive about this? You should block any communication with cyberbullies. Delete the messages without reading them. Don't buy into the social drama. Talk to a friend about the bullying, or a teacher or administrator. You have an anonymous bullying tip line here at Fairmont High School that you can use. Report the problem to the internet provider so you can get the account closed down. You need to deal with it. And if you're being cyberbullied, you should not respond because you will be just as guilty then in anything that's said in response. Save your evidence and report it if necessary to law enforcement. These are the possible charges that you could face in regards to putting things out there in the public on social media. Aggravated menacing, which is a misdemeanor 1, is when you threaten any kind of serious physical harm, such as death. Menacing, which is any kind of threat of physical harm, to beat someone up, for example, or menacing by stalking, which sometimes occurs in relationships where one party in the relationship doesn't let go and continues to harass or bother the other. The most common charge that's pressed is telephone communications harassment, which is an M1. And if you make any kinds of threat over any electronic device repetitively over a period of time, this is the possibility of the charge that you could receive. So we're moving into our second phase here. We're not going to talk about bullying any longer. We're going to talk about online relationships, the second concern that I have for teenagers today. Sometimes we are meeting complete strangers online and we do not know the truth about who those people are. We will be lied to and betrayed. Time does not equal trust or knowing that person. And it is a crime for an adult to have sex with a teenager. Online relationships, when you give out too much information, you would normally not do in person. And this video is an example of what you would not do in person, but for whatever reason in today's world, we're choosing to do when we sit behind an electronic device.
Hi. So, this is my email, my phone number, and my home address. I don't smoke. I'm a Libra. 5'7", athletic build. I'm straight, and I'm currently available. I love dancing at Club Nada. Me and my girls are pretty much there every weekend. I love Beyonce, Avril, Fergie, and Kanye. How to Lose a Guy in 2 Days is pretty much the best movie ever. I work evenings at Bazooka Burrito. My family is going on a cruise over spring break. It's gonna be awesome. The house will be completely empty. Here's my new flip book from this killer party last week. Tiffany is so trashed, and there's a shot of her in there kissing some guy who is definitely not her boyfriend. And here's my latest profile pic in my new bikini. Isn't it cute? Well, this is me, TTYL.
So when you're online, should be some of the things that you should notice as warning signs. If someone tries to isolate you from your family and friends, turn you against your parents, make you keep everything secret, or send inappropriate material or talk about explicit subjects, this person may not be who you think they are. Do not meet these people offline. There are dangers in regards to that, meeting people offline. And this is a video that's going to talk about a true story. The names have been changed, and her choice and what it ended up doing in her life and what she would do differently.
I didn't think that I had anyone to talk to about what was going on in my life. All the bad things, all the feelings I had for myself, just normal teenage feelings. So I just met someone online that I didn't know, and he said that basically the grass was greener on his side. I first met him on one of the private chat rooms where you just talk to like so many people, and then I would make my own. And then we talked from there. And that progressed for about a month. Well, I knew from the start that he was how old he was. I didn't even think that we'd have a relationship. He was like a stranger, and you can tell stranger things that you're never gonna meet, stuff that you couldn't tell your friends. He was saying, you're not worthless, you can come over here, I'll take care of you until you can, basically take care of yourself. And you won't have to deal with that anymore. And I just thought that was so much better than staying where I was. Well, the second time I ran away, I didn't want to, but I knew if I didn't, there might be like a little more trouble, because he came to my house, and I get this call from someone else that he talked to online, and she said that he was outside waiting for me. Told my mom I was gonna go out for a walk for a little while, and then I took off. I would rather went to my friends, which would have accepted, because I didn't know at the time that most of them were going through the same thing I was. I was gone it was about 2 days, and they caught us at another bus terminal. They finally charged him with taking a minor over state lines, and he's right now sitting in prison. It was scary because he called me, because then he knew where I lived. He knew what my phone number was, so when he gets out of prison, he could just call me right back again and start this all over again. Well, he said he'd done it before, but he never got caught. So the only thing that's in my mind is, where are they at? Where were the past people that he's met before? If you say that it's not going to happen to you and you keep progressing more and more, then it's eventually going to happen to you whether you want it to or not, because you never know who that person is or what that person's capable of, because he could one day just show up, or he or she show up at your doorstep just waiting for you. When you're getting over your head, you're thinking, oh no, my parents will know what I'm doing. I can't tell them, they'll get mad, I'll get in trouble. Well, don't think of it like that. Think of it as, if you keep talking to this person over the internet, you don't know what they're capable of. Yeah, there has been different scenarios played in my mind of what happened and what could have happened, and the one that did happen, I was lucky that I'm not dead on the side of the road right now, 6 feet under. That's how I feel about it. I can't believe I did this. Why did I do that for? All these things. If it's like a fairy tale that never happened. It's very scary.
So there are risks for meeting people offline. Obviously, what Amy talked about in hers, possibilities of things that could happen. Basically, you can be assaulted, you can become pregnant, you can have sexually transmitted diseases, have abduction occur, and probably death. So the risk of meeting online are great. This is an example of a local example. A man 22 was accused of raping a girl 12. This happened, she connected with him over the internet. He talked her into meeting offline. He took her to a hotel and repetitively raped her over the December 31st time frame. Human trafficking is also an issue where traffickers try to lure girls online to meet. Sometimes this ends up in the fact that you become in a sex trade where you are traded for sexual favors, and you basically are a piece of property at that point to them that makes money. And this is happening to younger girls who are found online by sexual predators who are grooming for this particular human trafficking. We're going to move on to sexting, which is another issue here at Fairmont High School and many high schools with the social media use. Sexting is when texting or emailing another person sexually explicit messages or pictures, texting sexual or vulgar material, including text messages, pictures, and videos. This is an example of how it would happen in everyday life and how it could be devastating on how quickly it spreads. Because what you put out there is never, ever just truly for you guys.
You know I'm sneaking out.
I heard it was 2 a.m.
Check this out.
Yo, what up?
Whoa!
Oh man. Yo, send that to me real quick. I'm not gonna. Come on, send that to me.
Man, you a pimp.
Yo, you
Blow that full screen. Look at that, boys. Check that out, boys. I gotta. I had to send this to Mark.
Send that out now.
So obviously when you put your picture out there for others to get, it could go to about anyone, including your own family members. I'd like for you to truly understand how the law looks at charging kids with sexting. Right now, currently in Ohio law, the crimes are punishable up to 6 to 12 months in a juvenile detention facility. You could be classified as a registered sexual offender for the rest of your life if you were charged with the felony charge of sexting. A sex offender treatment program might be required. You might be on probation or have to pay fees or fines. This is a felony. This is a serious offense. It's a criminal offense under the sexual code. And obviously, we need to be more aware of the ramifications of putting ourselves out there in a semi-nude or nude state, and the fact that it can get out to others and that we can be charged with a felony in Ohio for this crime. This third thing I wanted to talk to you about is the fact that you put yourself out there, you are at risk of getting identity theft. One person using your information gathered from some source takes on the identity of another person without their permission, and this happens quite a bit on social media apps. The intent is to use that identity for personal gain. This can also be something that you can get charged with and as a criminal offense. These are types of ID theft that occur. Some will occur now with you, and some can occur when you get older. Bank account fraud, they could take over your accounts, drain your accounts, especially your debit cards. Especially if you put private information out there like your name and your date of birth and your address or what school you attend. So you've got to make sure that when you have a friend request, your privacy settings are set appropriately so you're not just friend requesting anyone who could just be a sexual predator or someone looking to fish for information personal about you to use your information and your identity is stolen. At this point, they're stealing identities or social security numbers of babies and trying to use those because no one will really look to see if they've got any credit risk. So, social networks are about connecting with people, but please don't put out information that could get you in danger of getting your identity taken, or for that matter, let's talk about photos that you put out there. When you put photos out there, if you don't have your settings correct on your phone and you take a photo and you go to your privacy settings on your phone and you go to the location services and you have not turned off the GPS location services for your camera or for any of the social media apps like Kik or Snapchat or Instagram, when you take that photo, if you have the location services on, it tells the geographic location of that photo. Therefore, when anyone on the internet, when it gets uploaded, clicks on it, or when you're posting from any one of those social media apps, they could know the exact location of where you are when you're posting or when you have posted that photo, such as your home address. That gives you away all your personal information and could lead to your home being burglarized or you being possibly abducted. You need to protect yourself and place good passwords on your accounts. And don't use common passwords. The longer the password, the better. Don't write your passwords down and carry them around with you. And don't give out any personal information that can identify you, such as your date of birth, where you live, what school you attend, or your picture for that matter. Your picture gives the information to the sexual predator of what you look like. If you're having issues, I'm going to give you at the end of this internet safety tips, and these are the following. If you're having issues, talk to a trusted adult. If anything makes you feel scared, uncomfortable, or confused, do not respond to any messages that are rude or offensive. Save the messages that could be used by law enforcement as evidence, and do not share your personal information, including pictures. You can't take it back. Don't send pictures of yourself or others. You can't control what others will do with them. What's on the internet may be there forever. It can be copied or changed. It may be able to be traced by law enforcement, and you can be prosecuted for sending out pornographic pictures of other teenagers. Ways to stay safe is to never post or share your personal information online. This includes your full name, address, telephone number, school name, parents' names, credit card number, or social security number, or your friend's personal information. And never share your internet passwords with anyone except your parents. Never meet anyone face-to-face whom you only know online. Last thing I'm going to leave you with is nothing is private. You may think your text message photos are safe and private. You can't control if they are forwarded to others. Forwarded text messages are the fastest way to spread gossip and rumors. How many people could have access to text or photo in a matter of seconds? So every time you send a message, it will get stored on a cell phone computer. Law enforcement can access the message from that provider. So deleted messages are retrievable. Don't assume any privacy. Text messages, pictures can come back to haunt you for the rest of your life. They can ruin your ability to get into a college. They could possibly ruin your ability to get employed. Don't assume that there's any privacy when you post it. This is the end of my presentation. I do want you to know I have an email listed here on the screen that you can ask me any questions or any further questions you might have. Also, I would like for you, if you go to the school website, you will see on the district website a school resource officers tab. And if you go on the intranet here at school, this presentation and other presentations I have with resources are listed there as well. Thank you.